What's up, YouTube? I would normally say, you know what time it is, it's Mighty Fan time, but for this video's sake, you know what time it is? It's Mighty Mouse time. On the Mighty Mouse collection. So here it is, the long-awaited video of my Mighty Mouse collection. So what you're seeing right there is a reproduction of an old lobby card. Used to be in movie theaters back in the 40s and early 50s. That's how they advertised the cartoons back then, because back then, cartoons were seen in movie theaters, not on TV, because there was no TV. So that's like an old advertisement, not an original, but a repro of an advertisement for him and the Terry Toon cartoons to be seen in that movie theater. And here's some other stuff. Got my mouse pad. The thing I really like about my collection is that it really, it basically, how should I put this? It shows his whole history. There are items from each of his decades, from the 1940s until current date. And what I have, I'm sorry it's kind of out of sorts. I've been trying to reorganize it. It's been a long-going process. But trust me, under that book there is a phone. It's a Mighty Mouse phone, wall phone. Let's see if I can show it, kind of. Oh, yeah. There it is. Yep. Yeah. Ooh. Okay. So there it is. But yeah, there's all sorts of stuff in here: puzzles, games, toys, trinkets, you name it, it's in here. Valentine's. I mean, just basically everything. I was on a collector show back in 2003, HGTV show called Ultimate Collectors. That is actually a old advertising piece from a press kit from the Bakshi series, the late 80s. And I was, they came to the house, they filmed the collection, they interviewed me, and it was like a 5-minute piece on their show, Ultimate Collectors. It was a lot of fun, and, I guess it was my 15 minutes of fame. But the collection basically, I would imagine it'd be one of the largest collections for Mighty, and it does have items of him from basically his whole history. That's an old shampoo bottle from the 50s. Wristband, anybody? Mugs, just all sorts of stuff. And yes, it's kind of mixed in with the sports and Saw horror stuff. Bookends there, and just a whole bunch of stuff. That is actually an image. Remember I always said I want to see a movie? Well, there almost was a movie once. It was going to be done by Nickelodeon some years ago. That's actually a model. Well, image of a model I printed off the internet and kind of made a little stand out. But it was going to be an all CGI movie. Unfortunately, the producers left Nickelodeon, who were working on the movie, so it never came out. But it was supposed to a few years ago. It was in pre-production for like ever, a number of years, and that was an image that was leaked out on the internet, and that was the finished product. This is what he was going to look like in that movie. It was going to be an all CGI movie. Like Shrek and like the Disney Pixar movies. It was going to be along that vein. Done by Nickelodeon and Paramount, and unfortunately it never came out because the producers left and it kind of got put into production hell, which kind of sucks. But nonetheless, I think he looked pretty cool. I was looking forward to seeing it, obviously, but maybe someday they'll pick it back up. But that's what he was going to look like. So see, there was going to be something done. Maybe someday there will be. As long as it's not live action. I don't want to see live action. See, all CGI or animation is fine. No live action. No chipmunks with him. So, back to the collection. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here. I'm sorry if the lighting isn't that great, but this is where I keep a good amount of it in this cabinet here. Anything you can think of is in here. Cookie cutter. Records. Yes, there were records before they were CDs. Books, games, just trinkets. Some of the stuff here is from the short-lived Viacom Entertainment Store, which was in Chicago. I found out about it. I got their toll-free number on the internet, made some orders, back when. Pretty inexpensive stuff. They were trying to compete with the Warner Brothers and Disney Entertainment Stores, but didn't really do it, and it was only around for a year. Only in Chicago, so they never quite branched out of there. So some of that stuff is some of his rarest items because it was only available at that store. Most of the stuff, anyhow, was only available at that store, like the glass there. There's a frosted glass. There's a magnet over there. There's a mug. Some other stuff up here. Cookie jar. I think that was available elsewhere, though. But the little ceramic figure, the music box / snow globe. It's actually a scene out of one of his cartoons, which is kind of cool. But that stuff was only available at the Viacom store. And since it only lasted a year, it was only at the store. Some of that stuff's some of his more rarer items right now. And I have quite a lot of it because I ordered basically everything that they had for Mighty from that store. So there you go. Here you see some more stuff. I know, it's just, he's everywhere. But just anything you can think of is in this collection. You know, watches, scissors, Christmas ornaments. But it got to the point where it took me 20 minutes to figure out where to put a keychain once, and I said, you know what, maybe I'll go in another direction with collecting. I'm running out of room. That car is actually a very rare piece. That's an old tin car. The best I found out through it was from the 1940s, made in Japan, and it's one of the oldest pieces for him. It was him as Super Mouse back in the day. And there was just not a lot of items made for him as Super Mouse, so that's a very rare piece. One of his oldest pieces, I would imagine. And there you see one of his newer pieces from 2005. That's a Jeff Gordon die-cast race NASCAR race car. Yeah. And it was a limited edition, done in 05. There was 2 series of it, 05 and 06. And there you see him. No, the Phillies thing didn't come with it. But there you go. Never drove that car, although maybe I would be more into NASCAR if he did. but there you go. Basically just done for, his foundation and stuff. And there you see a little Matchbox kind of car for the original one from 05. They made the Match car version and they made the larger version. I don't have the Matchbox version of this one, but I do have it of the original. Oh, can't forget the bobblehead. There you go. Okay. Yes. That is a clock, as you know. It's a wall clock. It's supposed to be a pendulum clock. He's supposed to move back and forth, but it has to be on a certain angle. It works, but on a certain angle. I never really could get on that angle. I don't know. But and what you're seeing there is these are a couple of his original artwork used in his cartoons or pre-production from his cartoons, such as that drawing. But let me talk a little about this. This is a cell that was used in the Ralph Bakshi series of the late 80s, of course the one I grew up on, as we all know, and it's signed by Ralph Bakshi. That was a birthday gift from my dad some years ago. I went 50-50 with him on the price and picked it up. I think I got it off a Ralph Bakshi website back when. So that was actually used in one of his cartoons, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's a pretty rare piece. I know some of you guys have like game-worn stuff, like jerseys or whatever. Well, this is basically the animation equivalent of game-worn that was used in a cartoon. And that is a drawing of him from the late 70s, early 80s Filmation series. And what they used to do was make do the drawings, and then off of those production drawings, they would do the cells. And that's how cartoons were done back in the day. And there were other steps, of course, and stuff like that. But these were the 2 main steps, the pre-production drawings, and then you got the cells. The cells were actually used in the cartoons, though. That was actually used during one of the cartoons. So if you see that cartoon, well, there's hundreds and hundreds of different, images like this, but this was one of them. That was used in the cartoon, so there you go. And over here we have some more stuff. I know, there's more. But a bunch of different stuff. Those 2 figures that you see there behind, there's a flying figure from the 50s. But these 2 figures here were from a company by the name of Electric Tiki, and they make a lot of these mini maquettes for pop culture characters. That one came out, the one with his arms crossed, I believe came out in 2003 or 2004. And they are limited edition pieces, and the thing about it is, from all the information I gathered from it, it was so popular, and they sold out of that one, that they made a Series 2 years later, of course being the one right there with his arm raised. And it was the first time, if I remember correctly, in Electric Tiki, in the history of the company, that they made a Series 2 of any figure. So there you go. Can Mighty Mouse work today? Yes, he can. So there you go. So anyhow, YouTube, this is my Mighty Mouse collection. There are other things. Like I said, I have over 200 comic books. I have clothing, but they're in other rooms and stuff. Maybe I'll show them at some point. Until then, that's the collection. Hope you enjoy it. This is MightyFan. Peace.